This is Game Changers in the C-Suite, where leaders open up about the key moments that changed their approach to talent. Their personal stories illustrate how their decisions reshape their organizations and continue to build stronger communities.
Brown Superstores is a grocery business, and we have ShopRite Supermarkets, The Fresh Grocer, and DeBruno Brothers.
Why did you start hiring individuals with criminal records?
Brown Superstores really started to try to solve the food desert problem first, maybe about 25 years ago. We were asked to come up with a way to solve this problem because of its impact on health outcomes. And so that put us in lower income communities in Philadelphia. And as we were developing supermarkets to solve the food desert problem, we learned that a lot of our customers have criminal records. And with a criminal record, very hard to get a job. And, you know, I used to have these town hall meetings to educate myself. And one of my customers said to me, "You have a bad business model because you're counting on people that have a hard time finding work because of their record. And if you want to be successful long-term, you should fix this problem."
What was the reaction of your team members at the time?
When I was first presented with the request from my customers to consider hiring people that we hadn't before, I thought it made sense. But my team, they were like, "You've lost your mind." And it wasn't just my team. The general thought in the industry is that this is insane. But the food desert thing was insane too, and we had succeeded. And I thought it only made sense that you're investing in a community. You want to be successful in that community. You need to help them be successful too. It made sense to me.
How did you get past the resistance?
And of course, I told them, well, it's not really an option. This isn't a democracy. I heard everyone's input. And we're going to hire 6 people. And we're going to judge the future based on how the 6 people do. And we're going to give them a fair chance. We're not going to worry about what they did in the past. Our first at bat was a closed supermarket in Southwest Philly. Just to give you an idea, it did maybe $5 million a year. Very bad for a grocery store. And we opened it up with, we had a town hall meeting, we listened to input, we adjusted how we went to market, and we opened up doing $35 million a year. So that many times the volume. That was the entrepreneurial part. And I could tell you when my competitors really struggled during the pandemic and during other times when the labor market was really tight, we did not struggle. And so we were able to out-operate our competitors. And that was one of the times that we had a tangible example of how our policy led to better business performance.
What did you learn once you started welcoming employees with records?
Well, the first thing is there is no big risk. It's very minimal. Anyone you hire, there's a risk. The second thing is that a lot of the applicants might not have graduated high school, certainly don't have a college degree, don't have a legal work history. But what we found is that a lot of them are in the drug trade, which is a business, and that their business skills are actually quite impressive if you're open-minded. And so one of the things we learned is that the real people that were in higher level of the drug trade are really business people. They're entrepreneurs. They understand margin and sales and inventory and shrinkage. They call it different things. And that they actually ascend to management positions much quicker than the general population. And that we've been incredibly successful with them. The second is that a lot of the problems that may occur are due to the lack of knowledge. They're not permanently broken people, but they have street knowledge. And that's not acceptable necessarily in the workplace. And they could change if they understood it. So we train people on, what's the appropriate way to dress, what's the appropriate way to talk. And a lot of the people really understand that there are different ways to communicate. Even though they're used to, let's say, street vocabulary, they could turn that off and use a different vocabulary. They're very intelligent. But they just needed to know that would be important. The importance of showing up for work on time. One of my employees explained to me, they're not following why that matters because they get paid by the hour. So if they show up an hour late, they didn't get paid. It's not like they cheated me. And then they didn't understand that our system's built on shifts, and if you're not there for your shift, that we don't have enough employees to run the store. And just explaining that to them made a big difference. And so I do believe that much of the problems that you may occur can be addressed through education and training.
What were some ways that your new team members contributed to the success of the business?
If I could give you a quick story, we had a suburban manager who was having trouble with someone who had mental challenges, causing havoc in the store at like 5 o'clock at night. And so we changed managers, and this was a guy from the neighborhood. Never heard about the problem again. So I was curious, how does this problem just go away? No one was sure what to do about it. So I went and talked to the manager, and he goes, the gentleman is, yes, he has mental illness, and he's homeless, but he came 5 o'clock for dinner. And what we did is we made him a bologna sandwich, and it cost 40 or 50 cents to make the bologna sandwich. We'd have it pre-made for him now. He comes in, we give him the bologna sandwich, and he leaves. And there's never a problem again. It's a 50-cent solution that a Harvard MBA would not have come up with. But a person from the neighborhood, could understand the situation.
How have these successes with Fair Chance Hiring affected your overall talent strategy?
We are rapidly shifting from a homogeneous country to one that's far more diverse and more complicated. And like the luxury of that efficiency it's history. And if you go and you try to embrace a new group because you have to, because you can't staff your business, you will find that is inadequate to get them. Like you're not doing them a favor. They have options. And so you really need to understand them well enough to make the adjustments and accommodations to your workplace to be a good place to work. And if I could give you an example, a lot of the communities we're in have a large Black Muslim population. We didn't really know exactly how that works. It turns out that became a big line of business for us because we sell halal products in most of our stores. And we specifically cater to Muslims because when we learn, we integrate what we learned in everything we do. But we also thought they would be a great source of employees. And in some of the stores that have a heavy employee population, we had to change our personnel manuals because prior to knowing better, we didn't allow head coverings of any kind. That was in our personnel manual. And then, of course, that would be a problem for a Muslim woman. And so we realized that we had to change that. But second, some of them very devout religious people, they need to pray in certain intervals. And so some of the stores we added prayer rooms, to be a good employer. And so what we ended up with is, I think, a workforce that almost can create miracles because they work in an incredibly difficult environment and they make it look almost effortlessly, which you just couldn't do any other way.
What impact has this had on you personally?
When I think about the impact, when as I get older, you think about your career and things you did well, things you did bad, and what you want the future to be. And on that list are especially some of our senior managers that never had a legal job before, that today run, a $50, $60 million a year store almost better than anyone else on our team or in the industry, or in some cases in upper management, running a gigantic business so well. And to think that almost everyone else looked at them and saw no potential. And I have a star here that just out-delivers everybody under such hard conditions. I feel really good about the bet I made, and I feel really good about the person that could be back to having a life of crime, hurting people, and instead is dedicating their lives to helping people. I feel really, really, really good. Like I would count that as, things that I accomplished that I'm proud of.
Ready to be a game changer? Visit these websites for resources and inspiration.